make it a lot easier so that you're not bogged down with all the technical terms because it might not even help you um, when it comes to the exam. So, because the intent of this boot camp is to help you pass the exam and also give you like the rudimentary knowledge of KM. So you understand how just speak ordinarily about knowledge management. So, and that's why when we started last week, I basically try to remove all the technical jargon so that you don't see this as a very difficult or very complex career field. Because when we went to this class, I went to Texas, and I spent about a week for this, and that one was even grueling because they even brought in some mathematical stuff that I'm not even using now. So, and that's why I said no, it shouldn't be like that. All right. So last week, we, delved into the concept of knowledge management. So we're just building out the foundation of knowledge management. So we learned things about the core concept of knowledge management. We talked about the history of KM and some of the thought leaders and some models. We talked about the Seki model, about socialization. We talked about combination, internalization, and externalization. All those things, we brought it together. What I mean is by Seki, we talked about tacit to tacit, tacit to explicit, explicit to explicit, and explicit to tacit knowledge. So we talked about all those things, but I try to not make it too technical for us in this class. And also, we talked a little bit about knowledge audit, and then we delved into some of the standards of knowledge management in building a knowledge management system. I think we took our time to maybe to see how a typical knowledge management is, what a typical knowledge management is. And we went into some of the tools. Um, but I hope that you guys learned something last week. And each time I'm talking about a particular subject and I stressed or try to foot stomp on that particular subject, just know that those are possible exam questions. And is intentional. It's intentional in the sense that it will help you kind of remember what when you see that question, you say, okay, I think we learned something about maybe Seki or tacit knowledge and all that. So, but today, this week, and also wanted to ensure that everyone on this line, this training this morning, that you were able to review what we talked about last week. I sent out the video, although the video was restricted and is intentional because I don't want it to be freely available. But I just want to make sure that everyone that took the class, have access to the training. Not everyone should have access to it, but for those that took the class. So that you should be able to, go back and learn. So, but I hope you were able to get access to the video. But if you're on, and on this training this morning and you weren't able to access the video from last week training, let me know. You can ping me. I will give you a direct link or just add your name so that you'll be able to have access to it. So today, basically, and as time goes on this training, we'll try and get some breaks, maybe 15 minutes break here and there, so that I don't want this to be boring. But I also want you to freely ask questions, anything at all that you're confused about. Um, uh, uh, Please ask questions. So today is kind of a continuation of last week. So we're going to foot stomp on a whole lot of the things we learned last week. Maybe not everything, but for you to kind of understand what knowledge management is all about, and also we'll go into some of the knowledge management, a few technical terms, but I'm going to do my best not to kind of uh, make you kind of memorize or try to learn all the technical terms. You're not going to be able to do that. However, as you progress in the practice of knowledge management, all these things will come as natural stuff to you. So when someone says something about, oh, KM roadmap, you should be able to do that. So that said, today we're going to be learning a few things. We're going to focus on developing KM roadmap. How do you develop KM roadmap? What are um, the factors? What are the core factors, core things that you need in order to develop a KM roadmap? And we're going to look into some KM projects, because the idea is also for you to be able to have value added project, or uh, your duty as a KM specialist or practitioner is to provide solution. And I'm going to share with you how you can provide those solutions. And then we're going to distinguish between what data is, because sometimes people confuse data with information, and also information with knowledge. So we're going to define and describe what data is, and distinguish what information is from data, and also what knowledge is. So these are two or three different things. Data is different from information. Data is not information. Information is not knowledge, but we're going to make some distinct wishing we're going to have some distinguishing narrative on those three different concepts. And now we are also going to see how to measure KM effectiveness. So it's not, they might ask you to implement knowledge management in your establishment or in whatever job that you are able to get into. But you want to make sure that you can measure how effective that KM program is. It just helps for you to be able to say, okay, I think from where we started and where we are, going, I think we're making progress, or this makes a lot of sense. And also, we're going to, talk about some benefits of KM to you as a career person, and also to the industry or to any enterprise that you're working with. And then we talk about strategy. We're going to talk about KM strategy. All right. So, um, now let's look at the idea behind developing a KM roadmap. So, as you see on the slide, I put in um, five factors. Number one, in order for you to develop a KM roadmap, you need to, number one, uh, identify or assess the need. What are the things that are needed? What are you trying to solve? What problem are you trying to solve? That's number one. Now, number two is you have to come up with a strategy in order to solve that problem. Okay. Then you go ahead and create, and also try to monitor and then always evaluate. So now, talking about roadmap, what is a roadmap? What is a knowledge management roadmap? Now, a knowledge management roadmap is a strategy, is it's a strategy and a very high level plan that kind of identify or outlines your vision, your goal, all the key initiatives that you're trying to implement. And it also shows a timeline. So it's not just, sharing a vision or outlining a goal. It also show to the leaders or whoever hired you to do the job. It's going to show them the roadmap is going to show them the timeline that you are going to use to implement those things. Okay. And also, it's going to show some of the capabilities, that you're going to project when you develop whatever project that you intend to do. So think of it as a project plan. So when you're talking about a roadmap, for those of you who are PMP certified or within the IT field, you are very familiar with a project plan. Anyone who is in IT field, this is just my opinion, should understand what a project plan is. So a KM roadmap is like that project plan. And also, I will always, go back to those in IT. You're used to a business case or a use case, right? So it's like a project plan and a business case combined. So that is what a roadmap is. So when someone asks you what is a roadmap, just say it's a high level stuff, it's a high level plan, it's strategic. So when you're talking about strategic is high, anything that is a strategy is strategic is high level. So you talk about tactical. For those who have military, background, you say tactical. Tactical is in the weeds, right? Strategy is high level, very high level. Okay, very high level plan that shows you the vision, that shows you the goal, that outline key initiatives, and also shows you a timeline for implementing those initiatives. And also you showcase the capabilities that those things are supposed to do. So you're thinking of it as a project plan that is combined with a business case. So what question does a roadmap answer? What question? So when you are developing a roadmap, you're looking at where are we now? Okay, so that shows you the current state. So you're saying, okay, looking at, so when you come into an organization, you say, okay, so where, and we're going to look into the knowledge lab today. We're going to go into the knowledge management lab today, and you see how to access if someone is KM ready, if an organization has KM or, you're talking about maturity model, right? So you're looking at things that where are we now? Okay. And where do you want to be? So those are the roadmaps. So we've started the roadmap now. You're saying, okay, where are we as an organization in terms of KM now? And that's your current state, right? Then where are you intending to go with this whole KM? What, question, what solution are you trying to bring? What problem are you trying to solve? So that's your future state. And some people tag that as a vision, right? Vision is always in the future, where you aspire to be, what you aspire to be, where you intend to go. So that's the future state. So number one question, that a roadmap is going to answer is, where are we now? Where do we intend to go or to be? Now, when you answer those two questions, the next one is, how will you get there? Okay. How will you get there? So you want to get to somewhere. How do you get there? So in order for you to get there, you think about things like initiatives, those KM initiatives. You're coming up with ideas for, the project that you want to do. You're talking about the project. Also, you're setting milestones. All right. So when you think of those, the third question, the next thing will be, who needs to be part of this project? Who are the key stakeholders? Who are the people that I need to identify to help me? Because this KM is all about collaboration, like we talked about last week. It's all about collaboration. You have to get people involved. You have to get the end users involved. You have to identify those people. And even before you start a KM program, you need to get into the habit of forming a working group. Always form a working group. The reason is that when you form a working group, you identify key individuals from different departments, from different branches, from different directorates, from different units of the organization. That is how you make this thing work. All right. So you, after identifying the key stakeholders, you also assign roles to them. So what is stakeholder A or stakeholder B's roles and responsibility? Those are the things. And then the last thing that you want to do is you say, okay, how will I know that I've succeeded in this particular thing that we've implemented? Remember, I talked about measurement, measuring KM. We talked about it when I was, highlighting um, the topic agenda for this morning. So how does that happen? You're talking about metrics, you're talking about measurement. So you have to look for a way to measure your success. You have to define it. What is success to you? Because it's definitely going to be different for everyone. So the primary purpose of this is basically to align the stakeholders, to align what you're trying to do with stakeholders. You want to make sure that everyone that needs KM, everyone that is involved in the organization, that can make decision, can help you push this thing forward, that they are involved. So those are the ones that you put as stakeholders. And also you're looking at, how do you secure funding? If you're able to have a solid roadmap, it will help you to be able to secure that funding. It will help you to be able to get the right people involved, because every knowledge management project can involve money. All right. So you need to make sure that, okay, if there is a simple thing that you need to do that doesn't have money, that doesn't involve money, maybe you already have a SharePoint established. All you need is someone that has, maybe the basic SharePoint development knowledge to implement that particular thing. Good. That's okay. But you want to make sure that if you are doing a big knowledge management project, that you're able to, secure funding. But roadmap, developing a solid roadmap is going to help you secure that funding, because you have milestone, you have things, measurable things, and you have ways to outline to the organization that, look, this is what we're trying to implement. This is the problem we're trying to solve. And this is the benefit it's going to accrue at the long run. So they will definitely give you that resource that you need. Right. And also the next thing is, basically it helps you to kind of provide a clear, actionable part, so that, you're not doing something and it's like you're in a chaos, right? Um, uh, and you're not focusing on the tool. It's not like you're focusing on uh, 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 the problem you're trying to solve is all about dumping a tool. Let's say they need something. Someone came up and said, "Oh, I can't access knowledge management. Sorry, I can't access the knowledge base, or I can't access a particular document." And all you said is, "Oh, let's get let's get a tool. Let's get something. Yeah, let's get uh what do I say now? Let's get something. Let's get something. You throw a tool on that particular problem. No, knowledge management doesn't work like that. It's not, it shouldn't be a tool-centric. Tool, like we talked about last time, should be the last result. So you talk about people first. When you talk about people, you're thinking about culture, and we're going to learn that today. And then the next one is process. And then the last one should be the tool. So you're not focusing on tool. You're not saying, oh, yeah, for me to solve this problem of someone that is not able to access a particular document. Oh, let's create a tool, or let's buy a tool that will help them be able to access those information. No, you don't throw a tool to a problem when it comes to knowledge management. The tool should be the last result, but you have to think about changing people's mindset. All right, you have to think about implementing processes, putting processes in place, and then when you have done that, then the tool will be the last thing that you now say, okay, in order to make this very effective, very efficient, I think we now need a tool. So it's three-pronged. All right. Now, why is this important? Why is a roadmap important? All right. So basically, without a roadmap, okay, the initiative that you're trying to create when it comes to KM will definitely fail. If you don't have a roadmap in place, if you don't have it, a solid one for that matter, it will fail. And here is why. If you don't align what you're trying to do, your KM initiative, your KM program, with the business goal and objective, with the business strategy, no stakeholder is going to pay attention to it. No stakeholder is going to advocate for the KM initiative. So, because as a KM practitioner, you do varieties of work. So sometimes you come up with the project that you want to do, right? So, and people rely on you as the expert. So you come up with a project that you want to do, you identify the problem, you provide a solution. Now that problem that you have identified becomes a project. Now, but you want to align that project with the organizational strategy and business goal. Where is the organization trying to go? All your KM effort, you have to put it with the organizational goal. So so that means that you have to keep abreast with, your agency's strategic plan. Where is your agency going? So you look at your agency's strategic plan and see how you can tie your project or whatever KM initiative you're doing, you can tie it to that organizational objective. All right. You're looking at, maybe they're looking at a way to reduce cost, or accelerate innovation, or improve customer service experience, customers' experience, right? So you want to identify those things as, okay, in order for this project to succeed, or for KM program to succeed, you now look for that, what the organization's strategic objective is, and say, okay, this we are going to address. And then as you're outlining your roadmap, you're now identifying within your roadmap, you're not identifying the company's strategic objective in that roadmap and say, this is what we're trying to solve. All right. And that way it catches the interest of the stakeholders. All right. And the second part of it is that, talking about catching the interest of the stakeholders, they will give, you get their buy-in, right? The reason is because their concern is to meet their strategic objective. So they hire the right people to meet those strategic objectives. They really don't care. Most leaders don't care how you got there to the solution. They don't, unless a leader that is a micromanager. A leader that is a micromanager will care, okay, how did you move, this from here to here? No, they want to say, okay, they want you to get to Quantico right now. I want you to be in Quantico right now. I don't care if you got into a train or drove yourself or caught an Uber. I am interested in you being our Quantico. But a micromanager will say, hey, did you take an Uber? Did you drive yourself? How did you drive yourself? Did you get on VRE? Did you get a train to get to Quantico? A leader doesn't care how you got there, but they want to make sure that you got there. And the only thing they are concerned about is to give you the resources to make sure that, okay, how much do you need to get there? I'll provide the amount of money that you need. So theirs is they resource you in order to get to Quantico, but they don't care how you get there, right? So whatever vehicle you use to get there is not their problem. So you secure their buy-in, and it's a big deal. In KM, always make sure that you have someone within the executive that is a champion for you. Every KM program, I will keep talking about this throughout these 8 weeks, right? Every KM program, you have to get a KM champion. A KN champion. That champion is the one that advocates for you. But you need to make sure that, for you to even get that champion, for you to get their buy-in, you want to make sure that you tie your project, is tied, is aligned with their objective, because that's what he cares about. So let's say you delivered on a project. For you to measure it, they will ask you, so what problem within the objective, with this strategic objective, did this problem solve? All right. So that's one thing that this is going to help you do. Now, the next one is, it will help you to, kind of promote a common vision within the organization. Like now, they said, okay, this is our 5-year strategic goal. This is our 5-year objective. This is the organization's objective, strategic goal. Everyone understands. But when your project is aligned to that objective, it shows that, okay, your project has a common a vision within what the organization is looking for. It's relatable to what the organization is looking for, and also it's solving a general problem. All right, every single one, from the leaders to the end users, are going to be interested, because the project that you outlined, what you did, kind of shows that a solved problem, number one, and also it meeting everyone's need. That is what the agency is trying to solve. And guess what? Part of what the agency is trying to solve with your small project, you've already chipped away from that problem. You've kind of cut it short, because your project kind of align with the organizational vision. All right. Now, the last one we're going to talk about here is measuring project. So progress. Your roadmap, your KM roadmap will now show how progress is measured. So because you tied it with the organizational a vision and goal and objective. Now you are able to, alongside the overall strategic objective, you're now able to measure, you know, you're able to measure the progress of the organization, how the organization is moving from one place to the other with your project. Is now part of uh, securing a better solution for the organization. Any question before we move to the next one? Any question? All right. So now there are three projects that I've listed on this slide. All right. The first one talks about coming up with a KM design and how you can take a KM redesigning. Maybe you guys already have some type of initiative, you know, redesigning it from just being a model, from just being a model to from just being a concept, right, to an actual business model, right? Innovative business model. From just being a concept, we're gonna look at a project where you're redesigning your KM program or a KM concept from just being an ordinary concept or an idea to an actual business model. The second one is, you know, we're going to look at a project that integrates processes with culture and behavior. We're not going to go too technical. The reason is because it might not just help, it might not help you with your exam. So we're going to focus on things that will help you pass the exam while we're, you know, helping you to also learn the regular concept, you know, a simple concept of KM. And then the last project we're going to look at is linking knowledge to your business strategy. So it might sound very technical, but it's not that technical. So how do you link knowledge to a business strategy? Now, we're going to start with the first arrow, the arrow on the top left, the top right, right? It says link to link business strategy. So link to business strategy, linking knowledge to business strategy. We're going to talk about that. And then we go into redesign, KM redesign, business model innovation, and then end with integration with processes. Now, if you look at this slide that I have here, the flow shows that business strategy fits into the KM redesign. And the question that the KM redesign is asking you is the question of the what. All right. So because traditionally, KM is known for creating a repository. Oh, you know, it's like a dumping ground for data or for information. Just okay, this is a simple hub where we put everything into that hub, and when someone needs information, you go there and dig it up and get the information, right? So that's what traditionally KM people think KM is. It's like a dumping ground. It's like a dumping ground for knowledge base, or it's a knowledge base. It's a dumping ground where you dump all information, and then when somebody needs that information, they go and dig it up, or they, you know, and how do you get it? You create a tool, a search tool, where you just type a simple search like a Google, right? You just you type into that Google portal, and then you dig up that question, that answer, right? But the truth is that the redesigning asks the question of what, okay? So it means that you are definitely going away from what traditionally KM is, which is a dumping place for information, a dumping ground for knowledge, Now you're moving away from that. It looks like, okay, this thing is not dynamic. It's just a static, page where, you just go there and pull information. Now you're moving into a different realm where now AI is involved, right? You're moving from that redesign, you're now going into innovation where AI is now involved, right? You're looking at things as, things like collaborative softwares. You're looking at things that will now move that static page that you pull information to now become a very dynamic page. Okay, now that takes us from there to the question of why. Now you are in the dynamic realm where, or dynamic environment where you're now able to innovate. You're now able to adopt things like artificial intelligence to make the search faster. Now you're looking at, okay, ordinarily you will now say, hey, I need, let's say you're looking for where all the processes are, or the standard operating procedure for metrics, developing metrics is. So you know that that standard operating procedure is in the knowledge hub or knowledge base. Knowledge base is like a database, right? Is in that knowledge base where all the information is. Now, instead of you to just type, metrics, when you type metrics, metrics shows up as a document. And then you see maybe standard of operating procedure. Now, because there's AI involved, we're talking about innovation, because there's AI involved, now you can actually write a prompt and say, give me a, with AI, you say, give me a standard operating procedure for metrics that talks about data for December of 2024. Now you are, kind of narrowing the search function down to the penny because you're using AI, right? So it's asking the question of why. So you're talking about innovation, business model innovation, talk about the question of why. All right. So you're linking it, number one, to the business strategy, right? We talked about. Now, from there, you're asking or trying to answer the question of what, right? And that's the redesign. Now, you're moving to the innovative stage. And that is where AI, you bring in tools like AI to make that static page. That page is no longer static. It's now more dynamic. You can give it all kinds of prompts. You can, give it all kinds of search functions that you narrow down to the bottom penny of what you are looking for. All right. And then the last one talks about how. And basically, that is about the people, the process, the culture, right? You're integrating that search function. You're integrating it with the people. You're integrating it, with the processes. You're integrating it with the culture. You're changing people's mindset. Now, what does that mean? That means basically how you search things now begin to change. So you're now sensitizing people and say, hey, if you really want to find this particular thing, this is how you do it. Everyone in the organization will have to now change their behavior on how to search, on how to, and you're moving away from that simple static, knowledge dump to now changing it to a dynamic way where everyone knows that in this organization, this is how, if you want to search things, this is how you can find it. And it also involves changing the way you document things as well, because in not to go into technical, you're going to be talking about taxonomies. You're going to be talking about having a common nomenclature, how you name a particular thing, because it's going to help with the AI, whatever AI model that you guys are going to use to make sure that the search is robust and dynamic enough. So but for you to do that, you have to change your processes. You have to make sure you change the mind of the people to start doing something differently. You're not only changing their mind, you're changing their behavior. They are doing things differently. And that's how it's going to help you when you implement your AI. It makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot more efficient to follow. All right. So these are what I just explained to you now is a simple, project that you can, ideas of project that you can implement within your organization. You can say, okay, any of these things that I mentioned, any of these four blocks. Number one, linking your to your business strategy, coming up with a KM redesign, the business model innovation, and also changing people's mindset or changing, integrating your processes into your KM program into the process, into the culture. Those are, you can take any of these things and it becomes a project for you. You can develop a use case with that. All right. So I'm going to stop here. We have maybe about 2 minutes to take a break, but I'm going to open it up for question at all. I know this is a bit different from what we did last week, but I wanted to um, see if I can not go too technical, but also give you, an overall understanding of KM. So, but when we come back from our break, we have 2 minutes to go on a break. We're going to learn things about, organizational learning. We're going to, learn things like organizational learning, how you can improve your organizational learning, all those things we talked about, using a single hub for all your knowledge base or, your database. Those are, your knowledge assets. We're going to learn, we're going to, kind of uh, talk about how you can move from just retaining, just creating to actually moving those things to using it as a solution for your organization. So all those things you learn, all those things you pull, all those data you collect, using it as a problem solving tool for the organization. So we have 1 minute for break. I'm going to hold on for someone to ask question, or you can ask question from last week or whatever you need clarity from. So just let me leave the floor open. We have 1 minute to go on break before uh, this section is over. Question from anyone? All right, so take 15 minutes. Come back by 10 a.m. And if you also have question, write it down or whatever, but take 15 minutes.